Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Everyday Black Man Podcast, a podcast for authentic black male thoughts. I am Riker, and I'm joined by R. Reed and Armstead. Follow us on Twitter at EVYD Black Men, Instagram at Everyday Black Men, and Facebook at the Everyday Black Men Facebook page. Now let's start the show.
This week has been absolutely batshit crazier than normal, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, man. I know who I'm voting for president now.
You're voting for Jesus?
Kanye West?
Kanye West.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're going to joke. All right. Got you. Oh, man. Awesome. Yeah.
You seriously think I won't vote for Kanye West?
No, I don't think that you won't vote for Kanye West. I just don't think that normally you would waste your vote on Kanye West. I mean, he entered the game so late. Like, if he had done this in January, he could have dominated the news cycle. And the thing about it that would have really sucked for a lot of people is that Kanye's name recognition could have split a lot of progressive voters, especially if he said some crazy shit like everybody's getting money. And with this, I'm going to make sure Donald Trump actually exits the White House, since that's now Democrats' biggest fear, is that Donald Trump will lose and say, fuck you guys, you can't make me move.
They can.
Yeah.
But America's never ever had from my knowledge, they never had that transition of power be an issue. He don't want to be the only guy.
I mean, yeah. Well, no, Trump is completely fine being the only guy. I mean, he spent most of his presidential cycle basically telling people to go fuck themselves. And anyone who personally he had a problem with, he threw him up in the air and told them, hey, you're this, you're that, you're the third thing. I don't think he's going to be any less likely to also change how things are going to go for the presidency, which may end up being something where maybe we're going to make some rules and laws. But I think what gets lost in the mix for this is the fact that Donald Trump is just one part of America's problem. Like, people love to, as this guy was saying, like, the media loves to throw everything on Donald Trump, but these shitty systems that we've been dealing with have been here for forever. This wasn't Trump who brought in and ushered in all this stuff.
Yeah, white people blame Obama. The media blames Trump. Black people some of them follow the media, and some people just like, fuck it all. So we just have to speak from our perspective as Black people. And I would just tell our audience members, speaking for Black men in general, the system never seemed to work for us, but you expect us to celebrate it or be prideful of it. I wasn't taught to be a patriot at a young age. Recently, the 4th of July happened, and I realized I've never heard the words at a family function, Happy 4th of July. I mean, if they said it, it wasn't in the way that I've seen white people do it versus how we do it. It's because it's the 4th of July. We're not celebrating the 4th of July. And I was like, are Black people unpatriotic? So that's a question I want to ask the audience. How patriotic are you?
That's a good point.
And I would give, on a scale of 1 to 10, about a 4. But also the media makes an effort to take our patriotism away from us.
Also good. I mean, these are great facts, and they kind of bring us into, like the first topic. So no, let's continue that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, for a long time as a Black man living in America, I've had a problem with kind of American holidays because they really don't represent us. And on top of that, you see somebody like, our national anthem. That stuff was by, what was his name? Francis Scott Key. I don't care about getting his name right because fuck him. He was a white man who owned slaves who wrote some poetry while at the same time talking about freedom, while also subjugating people to work for him and continue to build his wealth. And in fact, probably one of the only reasons he became someone who had time to write poetry is because when niggas is doing all the work, I mean, you got time to kind of, do what you want to do.
I have a question, man. Should we always subjugate people to them owning slaves? Because if I was a wealthy man, Black man back in the day, Black people had slaves too.
But we had different types of slaves, though. That's the
correct. But I don't know how he treated his slaves. So is that always the truth? Not like it's George Washington when they raped that girl, Sally.
No, that was Jefferson.
Jefferson, yeah, not like that. I don't think I ever dehumanize somebody.
I mean, well, the difference is for Black people, like
terrible.
You're right. We can't really tell which people were owning slaves because they wanted to own slaves, and which people were like the people in South Carolina who the freed Blacks that were there. They used to own slaves that way you couldn't own their family members. Like, it'd be like, look, All y'all got to come. We gonna own y'all, quote unquote. We still gonna pick cotton and all this other shit. But as long as you stay within my plantation, we can stay together. Like they kept families together. White people didn't do that in mass because they didn't really give a shit because they're doing it based on business. So you want the strongest buck and you want the most fertile of the women folk so you can continue whatever bullshit you're doing. But it's also hard when you say that, R. Reed, to go into it because to a certain extent, as a black man owning slaves, you're not going to have the same protections white people would. So even if you are bad,
well, they will really be like my own personal army. Let's be honest with that.
I mean, yeah, I would hope. Yeah, you probably would be your own personal. I mean, that's hard, and that's one of the things to unpack. So I get and understand you saying, well, we can't for certain know that every single one of these slave-owning white people was the devil incarnate. But just going with how the
I mean, I don't want to give them that
exactly.
credit. I mean, it's just a real discussion for the podcast.
Well, no, I know you don't want to give them that credit, but you make a good point. Is we can't with 100% certainty. But I'm going to say with 99% certainty, Francis Key Scott was a piece of shit.
I mean, if you can beat somebody and no one cares because it's your property, more likely you're going to beat them. Just like niggas used to beat their wives. I mean, that's just what they do.
You're right about that.
Because imagine if you could hit your woman.
Mind and the brain of people of that.
I'm telling you.
To break somebody down mentally like that, to keep people at bay.
Oh, well, our reason I ain't going back that far, like 1950s, you could come home and slap the shit out of your wife, and everybody's gonna be like, I mean, they're just married couple, just doing the thing, you know. Just sometimes you just gotta let off, or like the fact that spousal rape wasn't considered rape. It's like, well, I didn't want to have sex with him. It's like, well, he's your husband.
Well, my dinner wasn't ready either. So.
I mean but that's the shitty end of that sandwich is that when you had a lot of different groups, especially when it comes to women groups and all these other things, they were telling women, look, if your husband raped you, just turn over and just let it happen, girl. Get it over with. Do whatever, and we can talk and cry about it, but you got to let him do whatever and make sure you have his dinner ready on time. Like that was the actual advice women were giving women. And then when the 60s rolled around and people said, fuck that shit, all of a sudden people began to be like, whoa, so you mean you not going to have my dinner ready? We fighting for freedom right now, Roy, but my dinner, though.
It was harder to get a divorce back then. I can't remember when they made up unreconcilable differences.
You had it right.
Irreconcilable, yeah, whatever it was. Whenever they made that up, that made the divorce rate skyrocket. I don't know if it was supposed to happen that way or whatever, but that made the divorce rate skyrocket.
I mean, it mostly, that's what it was intended for. It was intended to let people get out of that. And that actually happened in 1969. So again, not that long ago.
Yeah, women. And I mean, back then they said it was hard as hell to get out of a marriage.
Yeah, you literally had to prove he was beating you more than usual, which if everybody's slapping their wives, you got to prove this nigga is fucking doing... and I hate laughing at that, but you got to basically prove this nigga's doing stone cold finishers in order to be able to stand a chance.
That's funny.
I mean, it is, but it's fucked up.
Another whole stomping you and everything.
It is, but it's fucked up, and that's partly why and not to disparage, women's movement rights, because definitely women still got a long way to go. But that's partially why
it's not as long as. Well, it is long, but I think they're making it hard on themselves. The people they got leading their movement they're being regressive but progressive at the same time. Like I always say,
the Janelle Monáe thing. I know this where you're gonna lead.
Oh well, like
well, yeah, because that makes no fucking sense what she said. So viewers, sorry if you didn't listen. Janelle Monáe basically said that rap is misogynistic, therefore only female rappers should be allowed, which is ironic for two reasons. First of which, she said female rappers, which if you ever wanted to embolden niggas and tell them to do the opposite of what you've been telling them, continue to refer to women as female rappers. And then secondly, it's just how utterly ridiculous it is. It'd be different if like y'all were actually going out there and buying every Megan Thee Stallion album, single, going to all her shows, throwing it up, singing mostly her songs. But when we just had that challenge this week, shout out to you, Killa, because you always make me think of challenges, where it was like, try not to shake your ass this challenge. It was always women that were failing. I didn't see not a single nigga who couldn't not shake his ass to a song like Juvenile, Back That Ass Up. It was always women who were like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. 45 seconds in, her ass is being thrown across your goddamn phone screen. You're like, is this really what we're doing these days? We just showing that, hey y'all, I'm not gonna dance, but my girl over here about to throw it like a buck wild freak in 45 seconds. Go.
I mean, Janelle might know. That's the thing. That's the thing we talk about when I always say they don't hold them accountable for their own nonsense.
Exactly.
Because go listen to a Nicki Minaj album, and then go listen to, I'm trying to think of somebody, a Future album. I guarantee you can count the amount of bitches, and it won't be that much different.
And the problem is that Nicki Minaj is saying all these hating bitches. It's like, Nicki, no one's hating on you. No one literally is going out there and being like, you know what, I'm gonna go on my way. Hell, the Barbs have literally been the lifeboat for 6ix9ine's entire post-prison career. Y'all have held that man down in a way no one else has.
I mean, let's be honest with you here. What's name's kind of done. Well, I don't know, man. 6ix9ine, one thing I'll say about him, bro, is whatever he's doing, he did it, and congratulations, so keep on doing it.
Exactly. And he's been pretty good at exposing people. Like, everybody was on this whole, Jay-Z thing, and 6ix9ine was like, hey, your boy hangs out with snitches. And everyone was like, no. And then news broke this week that the main person for Rocawear, whatever that woman's name is, she's a fucking snitch. And everybody was like, no, it couldn't be possible. And then you have people like Hello Yassine, which shout out to him, Mind of HY on Twitter. He made a whole video just breaking down where this woman is. Basically, she used to be a cocaine girl. So, we'll put that coke in several places on her body. And she got caught. And then instead of, doing her time with her boyfriend at the time, husband at the time, because this is her third one, she decided that she would bust it open for the feds hoe, and that's how she got her time knocked off.
I mean, I always tell people about snitching. If it's you or me,
it's always going to be you. And I think that's the problem with people being so mad about 6ix9ine. But there's a lot of snitch rappers that are out here. There's a lot of people, like, as we like to say, T.I. Clifford snitch on a nigga Harris. He snitched on.
He claims he never snitched.
He says he never snitched, but his time in jail suddenly got knocked down to time on whatever, and he doesn't have the same level of restrictions that a lot of Fed people did, like going to halfway houses, because that's normally how you're supposed to go. He was allowed to go back to his mansion and serve out his last 60 days on supervised parole, if I am correct in my mind. And that's normally not the thing that's given to people who don't snitch. But
well, that sounds about right.
I'm not saying, because I don't feel any kind of way about 6ix9ine snitching. That ain't for me. And I don't feel any kind of way about T.I. snitching. But hip hop is mighty fucking inconsistent when we actually have people that snitch and people are like, I don't know.
Well, even if we go back in time, like I ain't gonna say.
Yeah, don't throw the nigga out like that.
Yeah, la-di-da-di-da.
It's true. That nigga snitched too. I mean, snitching, I think we not in the position where we can say snitches are the same as what they've been. But snitch tangent over, getting back to kind of what you're saying, like America and where we are, I think, going into like the first starter here, like, I think black people are more entitled to the American flag. And I went back and I listened to the Diplomatic Community first album. Listen to it if you can, and they're right. Like, black people have every right to throw up the flag as much as anybody else. Sorry, scratch that. Black people have more of a right to throw up the flag than anyone else, because we used to be commodities. We used to be currency. We used to be the thing that was making America rich, that didn't have any rights. And then we slowly, over time, got our rights. And now if niggas want to throw up the goddamn flag like fucking Petey Pablo was doing from North Carolina, may his rap career rest in whatever afterlife there is for rap careers, we deserve that. We've earned that. That's on us. We deserve to change the American flag. And if we decide we want to throw down some racist statues in the process, America just needs to sit back and just take the L.
I just don't think the statues actually change anything. The symbolism and the incrementalism that I told you neocons like.
I mean, they love it.
It's not actual change.
It's not actual change, but it makes people feel good. And then hopefully they'll be more receptive when we say, hey, why don't we take this up 11 and get your silver rights? Get the money.
And then they're going to blame it on Trump. And then Biden going to get in there. You know what, bro? He could actually surprise us, but I won't be surprised. He's giving me enough history where they call him the senator for MDNA. Or
yes, he will more than likely not change anyone. But at the same time, I at least kind of want to tease out to see how he would go as far as his next term, because Trump now is just starting to go down and double and triple down on like his lowest of his base. Because it used to be Trump would stand for all Republicans for the most part, then just kind of like the Republicans who have business. Now he's just catering to, do you hate black people? If so, this is the party for you. I mean, it's crazy. And then you saw those protesters chanting to those native people, go back to your country. Nigga, you're in their country. You took their country.
Very simple.
This is stolen land is theirs. You know, this whole Mount Rushmore.
I mean, technically.
No, they claimed it, but you know, who has the most powerful weapon tends to make the rules, which white people are really gonna be mad about if there's some aliens who come to Earth and say, you know, we want the United States, because they're gonna take it.
They didn't claim it. Stupid.
Oh, you saw that thing on UFOs?
Yes, I did, and it's hilarious that, you know, the United States government pretended for the longest time that there's no such thing. We've seen nothing. Then they just casually slid out in the beginning of the year that there's UFOs, and then come to turn around with what you posted and be like, oh yeah, and we're still looking for them niggas.
I don't want to speak too much on that.
It is, but I mean, we're also getting to oh yeah, the Naruto run last year. Yeah, they mostly just got stuck and ran out of gas.
What happened to that whole situation where everybody's supposed to be going?
The people there had to help them get back to the city.
Let the aliens free.
they were sending those people in cars and stuff, because most of them they forgot that the trip to get there. I mean, there's some YouTuber, I forget who his name is, and I'm sorry that I don't remember you, but he in months, like he in like June released a video. He was like, y'all are never going to be able to do this, because when more than 100 of y'all want to go to the same area at the same time, it's going to get blocked up. And that is exactly what the fuck happened. Them back roads got blocked up. People weren't ready for it. They had their little cars. You really need something more like a truck or an SUV, something with a little more height. People got stuck. People ran out of gas because, you know, it's 100-something degrees out there, and it kind of became what it became. But good point, Armstead. I mean, yeah. We go from niggas pretending like, oh, they took their little smart cars down there and they Priuses. Oh man, it is terrible. It is terrible. But what do y'all think about that whole sleep is for the rich gun club thing? You know, they went out there to protect those black women while they were doing their stuff.
Yeah, what was going on? Was that
no. So that was something completely separate, but it's along the same vein. They basically went out there and were like, look, y'all not about to be out here fucking up these black women. If they want to protest, they're going to be able to protest. And if you don't like it, I got this AK for your ass. And people kind of sat the fuck down because they were like, oh, y'all got guns? It's like, yeah, we got guns. They are loaded, and we not playing with you.
I didn't watch it. I just saw them people on Stone Mountain.
Oh, no, the Stone Mountain one was even better, because the Stone Mountain one was people who were like, look, what we about to do right now is we about to ride or die. So everybody who is got their guns and is willing to protest, let's go out here, let's do this thing. And people got mad about that, but I mean, don't really get to tell niggas with guns.
When the KKK do it, nobody says anything. You act like it's normal.
When the KKK does it,
it was a whole. I think it was like at least 300, 400, 500 people, if I'm not mistaken. All of them with guns and pistols, or rifles and pistols, or as white people call them, who don't know the shit about gun, assault rifles.
Yeah. You can call them assault-style weapons, but even that is really bullshit, because for it to be an assault-style weapon, I should be able to shoot 200 rounds per minute.
I love a weapon like that, but that ammo would get expensive.
Man, that ammo is already expensive. I mean, technically, you can get an assault-style weapon. You just got to get your federal firearms license. And that's the part that's so scary, is that literally all you got to do is get your federal firearms license, and you can own any gun you want.
Any weapon you want.
Now, if you want the tanks, if you get just a base, bare bones federal license, you can own automatic weapons.
I never seen anyone pursue one legally.
Well, most of all, because you have to prove that you can store it in like this little specific, enclosure, and it has to be basically burglary proof. Because niggas find out you got AKs. I mean, niggas gonna do what they do. I mean, I wouldn't try to rob the nigga who got weapons like Pablo Escobar, but I mean, there's some nigga who thinks in their mind that they goddamn Jason Bourne. They gonna just waltz in there and take the shit. It's like, okay, you go right ahead, sir. Go up to that nigga if you want.
They're coming for you.
I mean, not just he bought it for a reason. Anyone who's willing to put their whole government life out there is probably willing to defend it. And to be honest, if I was a cop and you came to somebody's house and you got gunned down and this nigga has a federal firearms license, I'm saying that it was justifiable homicide, and I'm keeping this shit moving.
What a wonderful investigation you did there.
Exactly. I did such a great investigation there, man. I'm pretty much the best cop ever. Just letting you know. And it'd be like, hey,
I can smell the bacon.
But fresh out the grease, hot.
Fresh off the pin.
But so what about this Black Business Revolution? Have you seen any increased sales, Armstead, in your fitness endeavors and other things that we're only gonna lightly allude to because we don't snitch?
No, actually, I haven't, to be honest. I mean,
I think it's a farce.
I thought that you would say that. He thinks it's a farce. Okay, I mean, because I see a lot of people like with the famous black brands, which we don't ever talk about. There's like 4 levels of black brands. There's like the really good social media following, and also some white crossover, and then there's the niggas at the top like Bevel and True Detergent who have like world class name brand. And people actually know, because I know white people who buy True. They're like, oh, I buy it because it's great detergent. I'm supporting a black brand. I'm like, you're really just doing this so that you can have brownie points in the hood, kinda.
Yeah, I don't even buy True. I'm sorry, I like Tide.
I've never heard of True.
I mean, I would implore you to try True, but I'm also not going to. Well, True. The only reason I know about it is it's when We Buy Black first started out. True was like that brand, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot. If it turns out bad, I can always go back to what I was using before, because I was an Arm & Hammer man back in the day.
I mean, Tide. If you want a pay nigga, I wear a Tide T-shirt.
Is that black on?
Okay, True. Yeah, True is completely black owned.
True, yeah,
and
True.
it's black owned and black Muslim owned. So it's rare you get 2 of those things outside of that one city, Milwaukee. It's a very big Somali area. A lot of them are also, Muslim. Also, the other areas like Chicago, but that's like it for like Muslim strongholds. But they actually have a really good product, and I expanded into getting like their softener, that kind of stuff, and that actually works pretty well too. So I mean, I'm all chewed up, and I've been chewed up for a while. I also use Gardener's Garden for deodorant, but as I was telling R. Reed several times ago, the only problem is that it tie dyes your underarm because of what they have in it. I'm gonna try the new charcoal stuff, because their flagrant flea stuff isn't really that ain't really it, Chief, for me. It's not that it. The stuff before, worked pretty well.
I'm more of a Degree man myself.
That was my favorite beforehand. Degree was my favorite before
I think don't you use Secret?
Degree made my underarms feel kind of slippery a little bit. Like I wouldn't really. No. Right now I use Dove. Right.
Oh wow! You moved over. You're a Dove man.
I use, and it has to be like the chalk. I don't use the gel. The gel breaks me out.
Yeah, see, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the gel, man. Look, I used the gel speed stick one time, man.
I have an emergency one that I bought by mistake that I use, but I make sure I wipe it off. Not gel.
Actually, I'm wrong. It wasn't speed stick. It wasn't speed stick. It was
Oh yeah, I would never use that. That's the white people marketing shit. Old Spice ain't real.
Old Spice, yeah. That shit told me I needed something. And it's crazy because I had used it because I ran out of deodorant one day. And I was like, damn, I need deodorant. And my dad uses Old Spice. So I was like, oh, okay, let me just use a little deodorant real quick. Of course, you're supposed to wipe it off and then you use it, man. The next day, my underarm looked like I was starting to scar up and scab up. And
altered your whole life.
Oh, and it burns. Like I couldn't even keep my arms down.
That is trash.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that black people actually stick with it, because the main problem that black people have, and this is the only thing I wanted to close on. Well, this is what I wanted to close on is, if you're gonna start supporting a black business, y'all need to keep doing it. Like for me, I've been a consistent buyer of True this whole time. Don't y'all buy up a ton of their shit now because it's hot and everybody doing it, and then just tell them fuck themselves like 2 months later after they done increased their output, because that's what We Buy Black was telling people, like, hey, we're gonna get through all your orders, but y'all got to realize we're not just about to hire 50 people to get all these orders out the way, and then y'all ain't keeping the same volume month over month or year over year. So if you started supporting the black business, you need to please continue supporting that business if their product is good. If their product isn't good, give them some feedback. Write them an email. If they act snooty, then, send them to everydayblackman@gmail.com and we will air them out for you. No worries.
Oh, yeah. And also support your homeboy selling his mixtape.
Exactly.
No worries. Support Black Man. I did it yesterday.
Exactly. Support your homeboy selling his mixtape. Again, your homeboy at the bottom, all right? You ain't going to see no residuals from this. But support your homeboy with his mixtape. Support your homeboy with his T-shirt. Everyday Black Men T-shirts coming real soon. We want y'all to have a nice T-shirt. We've been really, really researching it. And when we get it together, we're going to let everybody know. We're going to have a big push. And we want y'all buying the merch. We want y'all wearing it. And we want y'all, of course, sharing it on social media so that people know and they can buy more T-shirts. Help us help you get better content.
And you can also buy those shirts at everydayblackman.com. Coming soon. Y'all remember that joke, y'all?
Exactly.
I told y'all that shit would never get
Coming soon.
That's what she said. And it never came.
It's coming, R-Reed. It's coming, man. It's coming.
You should have put that you don't own the domain.
You know what?
I thought you owned the domain.
I'm buying the domain today. Since you keep being thick about it, hey, y'all heard it here first. He's gonna send me $10. We're gonna reserve the domain for the next 50 years. We put it on there. But last for the top line topics, I want to talk about this whole coronavirus making that comeback. Did y'all foresee this shit coming back so quick?
Nah, bro. I don't even know how it happened. Trump said it was gonna be gone by July.
Exactly. I remember niggas saying that it wouldn't last in the summer, and there was something about natural sunlight would kill it. And now I'm seeing niggas getting coronavirus going to they goddamn best friend's place, and I'm like, damn, you can't even go to your best friend's friend.
I'm gonna say this about that. I am definitely in agreement that it more than likely did go up, but not as much as they say it did. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. So what you're saying is you believe it's going up, but you believe the media is hyping up how much it's going up.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, to that I will say, I think this is one of those things where after they lost public trust with them having to readjust the numbers, it made your argument have more weight to it.
I think they lost public trust when they were the weeks before the Black Lives Matter protests. Those other protesters, they were like, blah, blah, blah. They need to go home before they get coronavirus. But then when the Black Lives Matter protesters went out there, they went, well, racism killed more people than coronavirus has.
Racism killed more people. Like, we've got to do this. And also, I mean, if you're going to go full conspiracy, bro, the amount of people who were like, oh, yeah, y'all need to go out there. A lot of those people were like, yeah, because while y'all niggas marching, y'all niggas spreading that shit to your own communities. Because a lot of niggas weren't wearing masks.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just still stay away from niggas. I don't see people in clubs and shit, so I'm just like, yo.
Oh, dude, you saw that club shootout in fucking South Carolina? Like, nigga, how did y'all pack a club, have people dancing, have women there doing their thing, and you thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get an argument with the nigga and start shooting.
Remember, you was just screaming, shouting, Black Lives Matter.
Exactly. You were just screaming that shit, and now you're going to take 2 black lives off. It's just, that kind of thing makes me sad, because it's like, we are, right now.
We, them niggas, man. Stop putting yourself in the same position with them niggas. Them niggas.
I mean, I know they niggas, but I want them to be more than niggas. I want them to join the ranks of the everyday black men and join the ranks of the really rich everyday black men. And then, the rank after that don't have to join, but that's what we're trying to get to. We can't talk about that on the podcast.
I've learned that everybody's not going to come with you, man. And sometimes you just got to go it alone, and you'll see who comes along with you, man.
Yeah.
And go from there, man.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Not everybody's going to come with us, but...
in every aspect, too. No matter what. Like, it don't have to be...
Like, if it's a nice party, man, just let that shit go, B. Let it go. Like, we hear people drinking. There's dancing going on. There's cute girls out here. It's South Carolina, so you're going to hit. You going to throw all that away? Because...
Remember, man, like, I think it was with that white dude, man. I think his name was, like, Brian Tracy. He said, remember, if you follow your thought process, you're a leader, so you always talk solutions. Why the followers are always going to be talking about the problems. So that's why, like, the people who lead, you got to be very wary of them if they always talking about the problems without solutions. Like, where's your solution? Just continually bitching.
Did you literally just nail politicians to a cross?
I mean, for the most part, that's what they do. That's why I always supported people like Bernie. He had answers. I don't 100% fully agree with him. Yang had answers.
Exactly.
Like, and everybody else seems to like, no one knows what Joe Biden is running on, but they seem so excited to vote for him. I'm just like, why? That's why when I vote for Kanye, don't be surprised.
I mean, the thing about it for me is everyone is so excited about Joe Biden's answers. But we ain't seen this nigga half as much. You can say a lot about Trump. He got dementia. He got this. You see that nigga everywhere. You see him make statements. He goes and he gives interviews. He calls people fake news and all other stuff, but he's accessible. When's the last time you seen Biden outside of that shitty ass room, save for that one little march he gave with the little black mask on, and they've been throwing photos of that up there. I'm like, nigga, that shit was May. It's fucking July.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
But even then, that was done from his goddamn room. I'm saying, I want to see you out doing stuff.
Good luck. He's hiding for a reason.
I mean, I think you may be right about that. All I gotta say is, man, his VP better be a showstopper, because he or she.
You're talking about Kamala?
No, his VP better be a showstopper, because that person has to be able to literally carry the entire campaign. In fact, we shouldn't even know that he's running. It should be the VP vying for America's votes.
I mean, they say Kamala. That's what they think. It's gonna be Kamala or Warren. Warren, to me, is the better choice.
Well, I think Warren's a smart choice, because if Biden dies, Warren gonna make them niggas mad.
I don't think they're gonna pick her.
I mean, she didn't throw her name out like Amy did, which I respect Amy K for that.
She didn't have no choice.
Well, no, she did have a choice. She could stay in there like most Republicans do and double down, or she could quietly retreat, wait for everything to go over, and then come back next time around, which is what it seems like she did. But I respect her for not doing like most white people and being like, no, I deserve this. This is mine. I've earned it. AKA Hillary Clinton. Hillary refused to bow out because she was like, I earned it. It's mine. We got a ton of fucking time until this shit happens, and it's gonna be crazy. But since we want to talk about it earlier, Kanye West is running for president. What do you feel, Armstead? Do you feel like this is legitimate or what?
I definitely don't think it's legit. This is kind of one of those things where it's like you know how people voted for Obama because he was black.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I think this is just like how a lot of people voted for Trump because it's Donald Trump. I don't really think he really knows too much. It is what it is.
I think you're right.
Adapt as the world changes.
I think you're 100% right, Armstead. This is something where he's just doing this as political theater, and I mean it's gonna be funny. I mean if our Reed ends up voting for him, I mean throw your votes wherever you want to throw them, but make sure that you vote for your Senate, because as we said earlier, Biden versus Trump. Biden is not in the lead, although Trump seems to be trying to make it a more fair fight by doing crazy shit. And, crazier than normal. Like that whole arguing or turning a fucking July 4th thing into a dog and pony show to gas people up. I think that was really fucking stupid. But,
I don't know about that.
So basically, normally for national holidays, Armstead, I don't know how much you watch what your president's doing. I mean, a lot of it's theater, so it's theater. But you're supposed to use the holidays as like unifying moments. He instead went on a 42-minute basically campaign rally instead of giving a shit about, the holiday. Although I will give him credit that he did do a pre-holiday speech as well. But his speech that was on the actual holiday out Mount Rushmore was just a nigga saying, hey, I got this speech and I can start some shit up and you niggas gonna have to deal with it.
Gonna listen or you're not gonna listen. That's up to you.
I mean, it was up to him. I mean, it was funny to me. But he's the great divider. I don't think he's trying to win.
I mean, that's what it feels like too, and that's kind of also scary because that means that R. Reed has a justifiable right to be a little bit afraid of Biden, because if Trump's trying actively to lose and he ends up losing, and then Biden gets in there and doesn't feel like he has any pressure, he might be more continuing the same staying the course bullshit that centrist Democrats like Obama have done, which doesn't really end up helping the black community out at all. Unless you just
It
like,
don't help anybody. That's why Trump won, because I'm sorry, like Obama was a questionable ass president.
yeah. He wasn't the Obama that he proposed hope and change. And we hoped and changed our way into the economy getting better, but none of us felt like we did any better.
I mean, apparently some people feel they did much better, but I don't know those people. I know people who I think people give the president too much credit for this or that when it comes to the economy. But I think we should always focus on ourselves and participate in the political process, but never let it stop your hustle. Just because Obama got elected don't mean things are gonna be green. I agree with that. But my nigga, I can't really think about anything you did. At least Donald Trump gave me a check. George Bush gave me a check. Obama, what did you give me?
That's also true. What did Obama give you? That's
Obamacare.
Yeah, but what if he didn't need care? What if he didn't need care? What if his care was fine? Like, we can have this whole Obamacare thing, but like, what if a nigga didn't need Obamacare? What if I was okay? What if my life was going well? Like that's the part that people never, ever, 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 ever seem to give a shit about. And that's the part that sucks.
And what we don't call him out on is how he ran. Is at least he ran on the public option. That's what he ran on, and no one ever brings that up. He said he was gonna do the public option and didn't even try. They said he didn't even try. He was just like, okay, whatever y'all want, and that was what he did.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So I guess we'll see how Kanye goes. Alexander Hamilton came out, and I think
what is he running for? Not to cut you off. I'm sorry. What is he running? What the 20? What is it?
He running for 2020. Kanye said, "Fuck the process. Biden isn't the presumed nominee. I'ma just bust in and say I'm running for president."
When you watch CNN, they think he's gonna win by a landslide. They talking about Reagan numbers, but I keep telling white people, don't trust them. Well, I'm sorry, Democrats. I'm like, don't trust them.
Do not, because you trust them, you're gonna be having a problem real soon.
But yeah, 2020 Kanye West. So 2020 West.
2020 West is coming. Hope y'all niggas is ready. Because if you're not ready,
I'm definitely trolling the system.
I mean, I think the thing about it'd be hilarious if black people made it seem like we were going to vote for Kanye West, because Biden would start throwing out reparations on the table. What y'all niggas want? Y'all want states? You want territories?
Hey, what you want?
I want 50,000 acres and a mule.
Per person? We don't have that much land. I think if you want 50,000, there was actually a proposal that came up, not to sideline or go off into the weeds too much. A proposal that came up from somebody who was saying, "Oh yeah, it was James Baldwin, his I think his great grandson." He was like, "Look, America, what do you want? Like, what do y'all want? Do y'all want to just like continue to be racist? Because if you aren't, why don't we do this? We're gonna have 3 zones. We're gonna have the white zone, where it's white supremacy, only whites are allowed in there, and tokens. You got the neutral zone, where it's like, cool, we're gonna continue the thing we're doing right now with, some subtle racism, and the black zone, where it's like, look, like if you're black, these are the places where you live." Now, I think the only problem with his system, outside of me liking the fact that we would go back to segregation, and I know people are like, "Oh my God, Riker's for segregation." Yes, I'm pro for segregation, because back when we had segregation, we didn't have the problems we're currently having with black employment, because we all employed and we ate off of each other and we bought from each other and we supported each other's businesses. Nowadays, y'all will sell out for Apple. Like, we don't even know. There could have been a black book, not the MacBook, the black book. But we'll never know, because the black engineers are trying to get into Apple instead of just saying, "Why don't I try to make some shit of my own?"
Yeah, create watermelon.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, watermelon supposedly was like some sort of god fruit from Africa that came over here, and it actually is associated with peace and some of these other things. The Hoteps, they love long talk. But we need kind of our own space, because at the rate currently things are going, black people are going to be non-existent in 100 years, and it's literally going to be niggas' fault.
I think fiscally it was supposed to be a negative value for our average household wealth. Is supposed to be negative in like 20 years, right?
Yeah. We'll go negative.
So far as that, because I think we kind of got it beat out, don't we?
How many people got $1,000 right now?
No, I ain't talking about the whole $1,000 thing. I'm thinking.
But that's a good indicator, though, Armstead. Is if you don't have $1,000 saved in savings right now, at least you are not ready for if some shit happens. Like, for you, you're a pretty handy dude. and you can fix a lot of your own stuff, but you still have $1,000
This is true.
that you could access if you absolutely needed to. Most people don't have that. So even though Armstead, you like to talk about how you're in school and you're bettering yourself and, you're about to get to, the next step and the next step after that, you're still doing better than most people in the Black community. That is scary. But
work hard too, though.
I mean, you do work hard. There's no,
a lot of people are...
there's no there's no argument there. But at the same time, for you to have $1,000 and for most Black people not to have $1,000, that is a big change. But Ari, you look like you want to say
Most
something.
niggas ain't got $500.
That's also true. Most niggas do not have $500. Could not get $500 if their life depended on it. But what I wanted to talk about was that Alexander Hamilton. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because Hamilton finally got released to Disney Plus, and it's not entirely like if you guys have sat in the show, because me, I've seen the show before. It was wonderful. It definitely makes you feel different to have all these founding fathers cast as Black people, and have Black people at the founding thing, and have cool things that are going on. And even though
I ain't trying to watch. I don't like musicals. I ain't ever tell you that, bro. I hate musicals. That's why I don't like Disney.
But you watch Rocket Man and you watch Bohemian Rhapsody.
I did not like the musical part of it. I like the biography part of it.
Well, it's not all musicals, although musicals do comprise like at least 40% of the play. I think what you should do is give it a shot, because although I've seen it and it's not as good as being in the theater, it is a great kind of just reimagining of things. It's kind of like, what we talk about all the time is for fathers, like you just got to be there, and try. And, generally speaking, that makes things better. By seeing Hamilton, you're like, wow, okay, what if Black people did, create their own form of government? Or what if Black people said, fuck this shit, let's all start our own gun clubs, and our gun clubs became our own NRA, and then our own NRA started saying, look, police don't represent us, and we asked you guys to reform police, but you guys decided not to. So in these states and in these cities like Charlotte, Atlanta, St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago, we're going to have armed militias on the streets. And if cops start beating the fuck out of somebody, guess what? The armed militias just might shoot back. Y'all niggas deal with that. Take that weight. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, having this imagination could lead to. Because I think realistically, as much as people keep pushing for police reform, it's not going to show up unless we tell them something like what Farrakhan said, which we'll get into later, probably next podcast, because we really need to do a deep dive on what he went into at the top yesterday. But unless it gets to the point where it's starting to affect people's money in America, they don't care. And y'all protesting, you're kind of affecting people's money, but y'all got to like sucker punch them.
Yeah, go after police unions. That's why they keep saying defund the police. But CNN acts like it means like no police at all, and they're supposed to be liberals. Like, y'all niggas ain't that stupid. Y'all just protecting the status quo.
Also true. Well, the main thing is they don't want it like, I think another friend of mine and Ice Cube or somebody like that said, which is police need to each have to have their own individual liability insurance. If you're a shitty officer and someone doesn't feel like renting to you, then you don't get to keep a badge. But what if people make a whole bunch of false reports? Sorry, nigga. What happens?
Why are they making false reports?
What happens to most businesses if people make false reports? They have to end up sorting them out. But this could impact somebody's family.
So
you killing people also impacts people's family. Like, quit the bitching, nigga. But let's go ahead and go into albums. So
I didn't listen to Pop Smoke album.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna save you from that.
I tried.
So Tiana Taylor's album came out last week, and that shit is grade A bomb. It is definitely good, but it will make you think that every person you've ever dated has tried to cheat on you, and you need to cheat on them back.
If you do it from the beginning, then you don't have any issues.
Okay, Ari, nugget of wisdom. If you cheat from the beginning, you never have issues. We're going to stamp that on a bumper sticker and sell that on the everydayblackman.com website.
Correct.
I will credit you fully and give you 77% of all proceeds, with the remaining going to site maintenance and upkeep. But the standout tracks...
the site is not up.
Nah, you're just being petty. But
okay.
The album, what she called the album, the standout tracks were Come Back to Me, Low Key, and Booming Head. Of these, I think Come Back to Me was really good. She's like talking about, hey, we got married in the track before that, it's just like, talking about, hey, you get married and then going back to the whole marriage falling apart thing and then going into Come Back to Me. Thought it was pretty good. Low Key was also pretty good. Features a girl Badu. Always listen out for a Badu kind of feature. She did a great job. And then Booming Head is Booming Head. The whole album I think is pretty great. But I know that some people, didn't like the fact that it focused a lot on cheating, and those people, I'm sorry, niggas cheat. It just is what it is. That society that we live in, people aren't as faithful as they should be. And I mean, if y'all would, bring back the whole people need to mind their own business and let's get all this gossip stuff, maybe that would change. But if Sally see that Ari got the juice and got the money, she might be willing to do whatever she can to get some of that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, Sally, she does what she does. But Pop Smoke's album, right. Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. I said I was going to save you from this, Ari, because really, it feels like it's unfinished. It feels like he had like 4 songs.
Well, he is dead.
I mean, yes, but he was working on the album before he died. So, I mean, I would have thought it would have been in a more polished state. They could have called this,
I'm pretty sure
Welcome to the Woo.
Him dying didn't help.
I mean, you're a terrible person for that, but you're right. Dying did not help. But it feels like they just basically asked everybody, like, hey, man, who got a future for Pop Smoke? And like 18 niggas put their hands up because they wanted to jump on clout. Like Quavo on 3 different tracks, even though Quavo does not deserve to be on 1 track on this album. His verse.
That one song people like.
Which one?
I Aim for the Moon.
Oh.
That shit was trash.
Yeah.
For the Night was trash, and I got halfway through that. I wanted to hear the one.
For the Night, I think I actually liked. For the Night, Make It Rain, and the Woo are my top 3.
I wanted to hear Creature. I just wanted to hear what Sway Lee did, and
Sway Lee was decent on his feature. He was actually one of the ones where I'm like, okay, it feels like it was a complete song, and then you added Sway Lee to the beginning and the hook. It feels like like Pop Smoke spit 2 verses. And then you added Sway Lee at the beginning and did Sway Lee for the hook because Pop Smoke didn't have a hook. Like, that felt complete. Like, this felt like, when Lil Peep came out with, like, the first little one after he died and it felt complete. And then the second one came out and it didn't feel as complete.
I don't know what that was. It was just random shit. Like, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Exactly. Then he had the Everything album came out and it felt like it was more incomplete than the stuff that was incomplete. This is what it kind of feels like. And it's sad.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he has more music than that. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And I mean, his features so far, because he's been featured on 3 albums so far this year, and all his features were pretty good. I was actually kind of sad to hear some of his features. I was like, damn, man, this should actually make me want to see what he could have been.
That's how I felt about Juice WRLD, man, with Monster. I was like, damn.
Don't get me started on Juice WRLD, man. I
turned to a monster, man. God's a monster.
yes, man. I still wish
Louis V. carpet. I was like, man, I love that dude, man. He was so different, man. He was that emo.
His voice is so different. He's got a different style to it. He has so much energy, whether he's saying about love songs or whatever. That's why he earned his spot in my vinyl collection with Death Race for Love. Because it's an album I can play from beginning to end, which most of these albums, like this Pop Smoke shit, no, I'm not gonna be able to play that from beginning to end. The Tiana Taylor, I probably could, if I bought it. But the one that I will be playing from beginning to end, that I will be getting the album, the vinyl up, is surprisingly John Legend's Bigger Love. I didn't see myself liking this album. I actually only listened to it on a whim because I was noticing some ladies were talking about it, and I was like, I mean, it's whatever. But from the beginning, like the first 4 tracks are just straight hits. From Ooh La La, which is like you just came home, you see a girl, it's time for you to go into it, and now you own it because y'all married. So y'all you go straight into it. Then he goes into One Life, and it's just every song on here feels like it was designed and crafted for a married type man experience. Like, if you
has Obama ever said nigga?
That's a really random thought, and I think the answer is no. I don't think he's ever said nigga on camera.
Okay, finish your John Legend thing, because I was just thinking like,
well, no. This sounds like the kind of album that Obama will be adding to his summer playlist this year when it gets released in August. So we'll have to see if he does it for his 2020 playlist. But no, Bigger Love by John Legend, I was blown away by. It's a phenomenal album. I've kept it in rotation.
Now, when did that come out?
It came out this week, I believe. And I was just so surprised. I was completely blown away. I went into the album with no expectations and thinking it was going to be trash, and I listened to the entire thing and I was like, "Oh shit, this is a good album. Fuck, this was great."
How are you recording?
I mean, I was just so surprised, man. I was just so surprised. But last but not least, the one single of the week that I wanted to feature is Kanye West, "Wash Us in the Blood." It sounds like he's kind of reverting to older beats, but keeping the Christian theme. We'll have to see how it works out for him, because it's okay. It's not a bad single, but it doesn't make me be like whatever. It features, I think that's Travis Scott and Kanye. Travis Scott, Kanye. I mean, it's not a bad duo, but I just don't see how this is gonna fit in.
Oh, so he's sticking to that whole secular music?
Yeah, he's sticking to the whole Christian thing. So I think that's good, but at the same time, I'm a bit weirded out by the fact that like you're doing like Christian, almost like trap-ish kind of music
I mean,
sound.
if it brings more people to God, why not? I mean, I don't. If it works.
I mean, you got a good motherfucking point. If it brings more people to God, then why not? But we'll have to see how it turns out for him. The initial views for it on YouTube, it was viewed a lot. I mean, I haven't seen the video yet, but I checked the views. I was like, damn, people actually, y'all actually listen to this shit.
Kanye West, man. He's just that dude, man.
Yeah, so sometimes you need that particular idol to direct people in a particular direction, even if you are quote unquote.
You're right. Armstead, you need to tell no lies. No lies detected, sir.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Some people do fake stuff to.
Kanye West looks like he discovered the Black Israelites, and that's why he went conservative for a little bit for a while. And then he listened and was like, I don't know about that. Then he went more towards the quote unquote traditional Black American Christian with a little bit of Black Israelite in there. So that's what it seems like from the outside, because Black Israelites are very conservative. As the one I listened to, I think he's never said he was, but when I listen to him, I listen to Black Israelite talk. Yeah, Judah, Chronicles of Judah. I think he's a Black Israelite.
That would make sense for him to be a Black Israelite. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah. I pay for his Patreon, bro.
You actually pay for his Patreon?
I actually pay for his Patreon. It's $5.
What is he giving you as far as content? Is it worth the $5?
Like, he has videos every week, like 4 to 5 videos a week.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
is it worth it?
That doesn't sound like a yes. It sounds like you're trying.
I wouldn't say if I could pay $2, I feel better, but $5, it ain't killing me. So I'm
actually, it's for a month. So yeah, that's not actually bad. That's not good.
Yeah. So on average, about 15 to 20 videos a month. Let's just be honest. 15 to 20.
How often do you watch this video?
When I'm at work, I watch them. But lately, I've been watching some other stuff. So I've been for the first month, I think I watched a whole bunch of them. But this month, I've been looking at try to buy multi-dwelling units, MDUs, and like how to get business credit and all this kind of stuff. So I've been on some other shit lately. So that's why I haven't watched. Poverty is not cool anymore. I'm not against poverty, but I'm just trying to change up.
I fully support you changing up, and I think that that's the right move for you to do, because too many people out here trying to chase the same thing. Because normally I watch Franchise City, going to shout them out right now, and they just basically give you reasons why you probably shouldn't start a franchise. Like all those people who thought that they were going to make a ton of money by buying bed and breakfasts. I watched a video today where he just tore down like what the cash flow is for those things. I'm like, the amount it's going to cost you is like $700,000 in his area, but the amount of cash flow that you're getting in a year is like 50 to 100,000. And that's really not that much when you think of how expensive the business is. It's going to take you like it's going to take you like 4 or 5 years to get your residual. When you can own, like, somebody was selling like a Chinese food spot and they had the books on there, you could make 50 or like about 50,000 a month. So you could get your money back for that Chinese food spot in literally the same year.
I've been watching that guy 100% financed. And a little bit of Dave Ramsey.
Also good. Also a good one.
What's that guy name, man? He's in Atlanta. Steve Clark. Well, it's not Steve Clark. What is it?
I don't know. You teach me right now.
No, the guy on the radio, man.
Clark Howard.
Clark Howard. Yeah, him. Clark Howard, Dave Ramsey's, man, because I was trying to get a car. I'm thinking about buying another car, and everybody, like, car loans, they hate them. No one does car loans. I was just like,
I mean, it is basically money
I
that
see
you're
why.
throwing away every single month. And on top of that, it's another chain. So if you like decide that you need to move, like let's say like you got a nice like job off wherever doing something, like you got to keep the car running, otherwise the shit's gonna just stop working. And I mean, you can detach your battery for like a year, but I mean, you still want somebody making sure nobody's stealing and breaking into the car. It's just overall car.
Got to start the car up and let it run for a little bit. Get the
Exactly. Because I remember back when I was in college, like the girl I was dating, like her sister used to drive her car around every fucking week, and it was like, oh, I just have my sister do it. She needs to do stuff sometimes. I'm like, that baby girl, that's a lot. Like your sister doing that week, day in after day out, and there was one time like she couldn't get the car going, and like. Then my girl at the time, she was freaking out because that was like the only thing that she had to do, like her summer jobs and yada, yada, yada. And it was just a whole thing where it's like, cars are definitely depreciating. Now with the advent of Uber and all that stuff, I mean, you could live without a car. But back in those days, you kids don't know about it. But, if you didn't have a car, nigga, you was done. That was.
Well,
it depends on where you live.
Well, yeah, obviously not
like,
New York.
People, like,
I mean, come on. Boston.
I mean, no. Even people here, like I know some people, like, coming out of high school that they didn't get a car. I don't know either, but they didn't have a car. They didn't get a car until like maybe 2018.
How?
I don't know. Matter of fact, we know one person. And it's funny. Old girl. What was her name? We just call her Shania. We should call her Shania Twain.
Okay.
They got the 3 kids, and she had 3 kids.
Well, damn.
She always always caught the bus. Always moved around like that. But she never owned a car until probably maybe like a couple years.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like she literally just got a car.
I used to know someone I worked in retail
I don't think
who
she
did
could
that,
afford
but
one.
she had bad credit and she had a previous she previously had a car be repossessed. That's why she couldn't get one. But okay,
she could have got one, but she would have been paying out the woo.
I mean, based on what we were getting paid, man, she couldn't do that.
Well, I mean, but sometimes those people be prideful because I keep telling people you ain't got no money, but you got $2,000-$3,000. The 91 cameras. Some things gonna run forever.
You get somebody
Yep.
you can go over there, make sure it's gonna run right, make sure it's shifting right, and then after that,
bro, even to replace the engine and the transmission is under $1,000. Okay, minus labor, under $1,000.
So if you really know how to look for certain stuff, you can find you a car and get it fixed for less than buying a car, and you don't know nothing about it or what's wrong with it. The car I have now, I paid $1,200 for the car and it needed an engine. I found an engine for $400. Got to put in. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice running car.
Nigga, are you leveling up on podcast right now? Is this that Super Mario Brothers? Nah. Go ahead, Armstead. Go ahead, man. Tell them how to get it done.
I mean, I'm just saying. Versus, a lot of people who are going, oh man, I need to find me a car, and they'll probably find a car. Maybe let me see, what's the going rate for cars now that for maybe a good car, like $4,000 in a car,
something like that. Sometimes up to $5,000, but somewhere in that area.
Of course, they use. But I'm talking about like $5,000. I would expect for that car to be in pretty good condition. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have.
Oh, an iffy car.
I'm talking about a car that people will see. Yeah, like okay, I think this car will work. Whatever. From there, like I said with mine, I paid $1,200 for it. You know what I'm saying? It needed an engine. I already knew it needed an engine, but I still got it anyway, and still end up paying less. And haven't had any problems with the cars since. But then again, I also know how to fix cars too. So also get you a trade.
Right.
Get you a trade.
You're right. People need to learn how to do something. Like we got to get back into it, man. Black people, we've been getting away from this. We've been doing all this customer service stuff. Like, nigga, you need to do something. Whether it's learn how to paint or learn how to work on cars or learn how to fucking, I don't know, cut some grass, nigga. You need to figure out something that you can do so that people are able to depend on you and ask you for stuff, and you can, say, hey man, I can do this, can I help you with that? Like I know a guy who used to go around cutting grass, then he ended up owning a business cutting grass. Now he owns businesses cutting grass in different areas, and he's a millionaire. I mean, it's just it's not super hard for you to do what you need to do. Like you just gotta get out there and do it.
Yeah, every time I go up and down the road, I always see these kids on the side on the corner of the highway, on the interstate, right? Not on the interstate, but of course with the bridges or whatever. And they selling water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Sit out there,
do something.
do something. Don't just sit at home watching TV on Netflix, doing all the other bullshit. I mean, get something done.
Yeah, poverty is a choice. One friend of mine, he said the strangest thing to me one time. It made me understand why he was how he is. It also made me understand why he is where he is. He says, he said, I'm never broke. I always got money, but I never have enough. And the truth is, that's true for everybody. You always feel like you never have enough. But my nigga, for you to do nothing about it leaves you in the same position. And that's where he stood. I was just like, bro, I feel where you're coming from, but that's a defeatist mentality.
Absolutely.
Like you need to still do something.
You got to. You got to do something.
Yeah, okay, I totally took that the wrong way then, because I thought when you just said that to me just now, I thought you were saying that he was like, I'm not staying at one place. I'm gonna stay moving because I can never have enough money, so I'm gonna keep myself busy. That's what I thought he meant by it.
The way he said, because I was like, bro, you don't. I was like, he's somebody who always job struggling, and I was like, bro, you don't care about not having no money. I always have money, but I never have enough. Even when I'm working, I still don't have enough. So I understood that part of it. I don't understand why you quit. Yeah, he quit. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, he quit. Okay, now I know he's.
No, I'm saying the fact that it seems like he's not trying. I'm not going to say he actually did. I'm just like, yo, bro, I offered you opportunities.
Oh, he's giving up, is what you're saying.
I believe he has. I'm not saying for sure, but I believe he has.
That don't make no damn sense.
And that's another thing. Like, I know a lot of people can easily say, hey, always motivate your people, even if you can try to give them guidance to the right direction and do stuff. You can't make somebody do something. So how do you get somebody that is close to you that you care, other than just saying, oh man, you just got to keep doing it? Nah. How do you really do it to help motivate your people?
In the immortal words of R. Reed from a long time ago, you can't make people do shit. Only thing you can do is tell them, hey man, all right, cool, bro. Because it all comes down to you. It comes down to motivation. I mean, I'm sure, Armstead, you've told plenty of people how they could change the oil in their car. And a lot of them like, oh, no, I can't do that. That's too much work. I'm going to get dirty.
Well, that's different. That's to me, that's a little different because, I mean, if you can afford to have somebody else do it, I mean, you don't feel like doing it. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I said, he's still all right. He still got somewhere to live and somewhere to eat. So that's the same kind of concept.
Not exactly, because I see where Armstead is going with it. Because, I mean, nigga, you're not going to be able to work for the rest of your life unless you die early. If you get to retirement age, you are going to have something residual that is giving you back money, whether it's in the form of stocks or if it's in the form of having real estate that's giving you that passive income, or it's just having a big enough nest egg saved up that you can draw off of in your high interest yield savings account. But in either case, you got to have something that can help you in the long term, because these jobs and things of this nature, you're not going to be working forever. Like at some point, it's kind of like RE, what you were saying earlier about your father when it comes to cutting grass and stuff. At some point, you stop wanting to do it yourself. You pay somebody else to do it. But that is conversely the same way if you have been used to, I'm making just enough money to live. At some point, the cost of living versus what you make is going to make that bell curve switch, and now it's going to cost more for you to live here that you're bringing in through what means you have to get money. So you gotta have a long-term plan, and that's something that people don't really get. Like if you don't have a 401k right now, if you haven't been saving, then when you do get a good job, when you do have that stuff, you need to be putting in 20 to maybe 25% of your taxable income in there, even if you're not getting a match. Because if you don't do that, like you playing catch up. Like if you're 18 years old, you start off saving, like I think it's $5,000 a year. By the time you get to being 65, you'll have like $1.2 million. But if you starting this at 35, or if you starting this at 40, Shawty, you got to put in a lot more money up front, and then you got to keep working at it, because at some point in time, unless you die, you're going to have to retire. It's just an inevitability.
And not even in the sense of like having the money to just have somebody else do it, because like even if I had the money to have somebody do certain stuff, I mean, if I could do it myself, more than likely I'm going to do it myself. But what I'm saying is it's time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just don't have the time to do it. So just to take up that space, that go ahead and, give somebody else the ability to do it, and then throw somebody in their pocket.
Anyway, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and end this podcast. We appreciate your support. Check us out at EVYD Black Men on Twitter, Everyday Black Men on Instagram, and the Everyday Black Men Facebook page.